My name is Gabby Nicholas, like Ellen said. I'm actually a 2014 undergraduate transfer scholar, so I won it back in the day. Transferred from my community college in Orlando to the University of Florida. Go Gators, hence the water bottle. I studied journalism, and now I'm actually working one block, what is this? West, is that? One block west of here at a nonprofit in education working with first-generation students to provide them with one-on-one college counseling. So did a little bit of a switch in career, but I'm super excited to be where I am now, and I'm happy to be here talking about the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation.
Yeah, so my name is Elyeen Gramajo. I just won the scholarship last year. I graduated from Undergraduate College, the class of 2017, and I'm currently at Loyola University in Chicago, majoring in accounting. And I'm also right now working as a business development intern for International Aid Services, which is a nonprofit that works internationally. Yeah.
Awesome. And we're going to be going off of the PowerPoint with a lot of important information, but if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to either shout it out, raise your hand. This is an experience we want to facilitate conversation and definitely help you get to the scholarship, apply, get it, and move on to that next academic journey. So nearly $150 million has been awarded through this foundation. Has anyone heard of the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation previously, before this? Awesome, oh my gosh, what have you heard about it? Like anything in specific? You can shout it out, yeah.
It's, I believe, around $40,000 per year given, regardless of the school issues.
Around $40,000 a year, regardless of school. Awesome. Anyone else? Other information that you've heard?
Scholarships are awarded for 3 years.
Yes, awesome. Scholarships are awarded up to 3 years. Anyone else? Other information? Does anyone know who Jack Kent Cooke was? No? So he was actually this philanthropist, born in Canada. The Great Depression happened. He had to drop out of high school to help support his family. Went up through like the stock market, Wall Street, did all that. And then he ended up just acquiring so much money. He bought the Redskins at one time, bought a lot of the LA teams, and in his will, he dedicated a lot of his money to this foundation because he wanted to give students the opportunity to pursue higher ed, an opportunity that he didn't have himself. So we're here talking about the Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship, which is specifically for community college or city college students who want to transfer to a four-year university to complete their bachelor's degree. I was looking at this PowerPoint last night and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me back in 2014 when I wanted. So this is my cohort. These are all people that I got the scholarship with, really incredible individuals. I'll name out a few of my favorites. This is Jesus. I actually went to school with him. We both found out that we were transferring to the University of Florida. He's an engineering major. This is Edna. She is currently she graduated from Columbia University in New York, studying international politics, and she just had an internship at the UN. So, total rock star. And then this is one of my best friends, her name is Maria. She graduated from Cornell University with a biology degree, and she's currently pursuing a law degree as well as her doctorate, because why not? Like, one of those is not enough on its own. So these are all just a bunch of people that I've gotten super close with, and it's exciting to be able to have them on the second slide to talk about and brag about.
Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about the program benefits, the application process, the selection process, and some tips. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or at the end you can also ask any questions. Let's start with the program benefits. You can attend the most selective college and universities in the nation. The foundation actually encourages you to apply to the most selective universities. And you have the freedom to focus on learning because of the financial award is $40,000, as you already mentioned. You have like the opportunity to focus on school and do better. But yeah, and it's kind of like one of the most selective colleges.
Does anyone have any idea why Jack Kent Cooke is encouraging their scholars to apply for some of the most selective schools? Any idea why they want to see you apply to those selective schools and universities?
Maybe because you have to try for the best.
That's a great point. It shows that you're willing to put yourself out there, apply for those most prestigious opportunities. Awesome. Also, prestigious colleges and universities, they have a lot more aid to give to students. So think of, well, my university, my graduating class was like, I think, I'm just gonna say 40,000 students in I think graduate school alone. That's about my population size for the University of Florida, but compared to like some of the smaller liberal arts schools, some of the Ivy Leagues, they have so much more money to give to students. So we like to see a lot of our scholars go to some of these more prestigious schools that have that all those resources, that financial aid, and like the support in place to help our scholars succeed. So, as someone mentioned before, you can receive up to $40,000 per year to attend any four-year accredited institution. It doesn't have to be in the US, it can be overseas as long as it's accredited. It can pay for tuition, living expenses if you're living off campus, on campus, books, and other required fees. We have a lot of non-traditional students that are part of our scholar community, and sometimes those fees can be used for childcare, just to name something. You also have access to advising about selecting a college, navigating those financial aid offices, transitioning, and maximizing the college experience, just to name a few. And then, this is what I'm excited to talk about. They offer support for continuing your studies into graduate school. So this is where I am currently. I'm taking 3 gap years between graduating from my undergrad program to go to graduate school, and I'll be applying for this. So the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, once you're a part of their undergraduate transfer program as a college scholar, you're eligible to apply for graduate school funding. So when you apply, you're only competing against yourself and your own track record. So I plan to apply for graduate school and ask the foundation for support. And they'll offer funding for up to $75,000 to help pay for those graduate school programs. And as many of you know, graduate school isn't as easily fundable as some of the undergraduate programs because financial aid is not as easily accessible in graduate school.
Okay, so the scholar community network, once you become a scholar, you become part of this family and this community. We have like a big network, not only around the country, but also around the world. So we have Facebook groups, we use emails and different ways of communication. So basically, you can communicate with anyone around the globe and they will be there to support you anytime. And we have what is called the Scholars Weekend, which is a weekend that is all expenses paid, and it welcomes new students, but also you have the opportunity to meet with current scholars so you can build community and have new experiences of learning leadership skills and stuff like that.
And then I'm going to put you on the spot. What was your favorite? So Elyeen just got the scholarship last year, so this summer was her first Scholars Weekend. So what was your favorite part of Scholars Weekend?
I actually love every part of it. So
we did rehearsals. And I was actually also part of Scholars Weekend last year as an alumni presenter, so I spoke on pursuing career paths that are different from your undergraduate focus. But I was able to attend Scholars Weekend and interact with this immense scholar network. I actually got my first job out of college through a Cooke Scholar because he told me about this opportunity that I then applied for. But that's just one example of just the amazing network you have at your disposal. Who has a LinkedIn page? Awesome. So we have something similar online called Cooke, I think Scholars Connect, that's what it is. But it's basically a LinkedIn, but just for Cooke Scholars. You can search by area of interest, area of study, current jobs, current companies, but it's just so awesome to have like that accessible at your fingertips.
So you also have access to leadership, service opportunities within the scholar community and beyond. So the foundation itself has some opportunities for outreach and activities like that, but as well as I mentioned, you also have this community, and so we are always helping each other. Like, if you know about a job, they post it on the Facebook page, and so more scholars can know about it, and like that's how you can like get connected. And also to their new is it like an app, right? Like you think, yeah, it's like an app, and you can also get connected with scholars. So.
And I know when I was transferring from my community college to my university, one of the biggest things I was nervous about was going from my community college with like 1,200 students to a university of like over 40,000 students. And what I really loved about the scholar community, because there was about 10 of us scholars living in that city, we would always come together for like study sessions. We would link up on Facebook and say, hey, we all want to get pizza tonight. And the scholarship would actually be like, oh, you want to throw a pizza party? I can cover that cost. $40 a person. We're like, $40 a person. Like, it's like 20 pizzas each. But they also pay to let you have that like really bonding experience with all the other scholars, because it's hard. Like, college isn't easy, and they want to make sure that you're supported both academically, but also on a social level with your fellow students.
Yeah, and also if you register each activity you do with other scholars, you get the opportunity to get free stuff. So that's also cool.
So this is just showcasing 3 of our scholars. The man on the left, his name is Promise. He's actually enrolled at a doctorate of nursing program right now. He graduated from the University of Maryland, I think. And I met him my first scholars weekend. The man in the middle, though, he's super intimidating because he's just so impressive. His name is Rokas, and he went to, I forget where he did his undergrad in, but then he got the graduate scholarship to study at the University of Oxford in England, where he got I think he was studying international politics or international development. And then he started his own nonprofit, or he does research and just all this incredible stuff. His resume is 20 pages long. And he's always comes to the Scholars Weekend because they're like, Shrokas, come back. We want you to talk to all the different scholars. And this is Michelle on the right. She's also really awesome. But who is the Cooke Scholar? Think big, work hard, achieve. That's the Jack Kent Cooke motto. We want you to have those big, really big goals, but also dream with your feet on the ground and kind of make steps as to how you're going to achieve that. And Jack Kent Cooke is just a way for you to not have to worry about finances on your way to meeting your goals. And I think one of the common threads, and you can let me know if this is right or not, one of the common threads amongst the scholar community is that we all have a real passion to give back. A love for service, for nonprofit work, no matter what that looks like for you, working in the medical field, teaching, we all have this common thread that we all want to give back in some form or another. And then kind of rolling into eligibility, so this is maybe where some of your questions come in. You have to be a current student at an accredited community college, so if you're all here at a city college, you can check that one off. With sophomore status, so this should be freshman status because this is for students applying for next year. I think when does it open? Our scholarship, you know?
This year.
This year. It'll open in this fall for this next round of scholarships. Or you can be a recent graduate of community college, but you cannot have started at your next institution when you apply for the scholarship.
So you need to have a minimum of 3.5 GPA on a 4 scale and plan to enroll in a full-time bachelor's program and accredited college or university in the fall of 2019, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it will be 2019.
Yeah. And then sometimes we get questions like, it doesn't matter what I'm majoring in, I want to go into fine arts, I want to go into, no matter what it is, as long as it's at an accredited college, or yes. As long as you're not planning to start at your next institution until the fall, you can apply. Yeah, but double check with me at the end just to make sure. Because there's an FAQ on their website, and I want to make sure that I get that right. But yeah, it doesn't matter what major you're studying as long as it's at an accredited institution. You have to demonstrate financial need. So they will consider applicants with a family income of under $95,000. I don't know why it says however, but typically most of our scholarship recipients, if you're eligible, of course, will be receiving the Pell Grant in addition to any other scholarships that you will be receiving if you file with FAFSA. Any questions about financial need? Yes.
I have a question about that. So if you're not eligible for the Pell Grant, you can't get the scholarship? Is that, am I reading? Okay.
Yeah. Because I know specifically for some of my friends who are undocumented, they can't file FAFSA. So for them, they wouldn't look at their Pell Grant eligibility, they would look at their income.
Great.
Okay, so the application components. So we have the student activities, academic activities, and the honors. We have short answer and essay questions. We have the recommendations, which are really important, the financial forms, and the official transcripts. So it's a little-
And that's an overview, but we'll go into more of the details in a little bit.
Okay, so the general tips. Begin right away. Some people leave everything the last minute, or they think, oh, maybe I will get it done. But this scholarship is like, it can change your life. So you should start right away. Email your recommender so they can know, like they can have enough time to complete their part. They also require a parent cell form, so your parents have to fill out a form as well. So don't leave it at the last minute because like time, and so you should start right away. Follow up with your recommenders. As I just said, you have to email them, but also submit their emails into the application so they can send them whatever they have to do, and they have enough time to complete it. And finish the application. So remind yourself of the deadline and remind your recommenders of the deadline, and also let them know so they can remind you back so you don't forget. And like, don't wait till the deadline. Like if you can submit it before, that would be even great, better.
And this is the deadline for last year, but it's probably around the same. It's usually at the end of October when they close the application. And then number 2 is especially important because I know I ran into some issues when I was submitting my application. So on the deadline that the recommendation letters were due, I saw that my recommender hadn't filled out her application yet, so I like ran to her office hours. I'm like, hi, Dr. So-and-so, like, did you fill out my recommendation letter yet? Just making sure. She's like, no! So we had literally 15 minutes to just sit down before that like 11:59 p.m. deadline just to submit everything. She's like, remind me of a leadership opportunity. I'm like, well, when I did this project, and she was like typing furiously. And we got it in with like 2 minutes to spare. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I get this, I will not come back to your office hours ever again. Not looking back.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
Outside of professors, who else would you recommend as good individuals to use as recommended to
So I asked my dean. I think when we're thinking about recommenders, it doesn't have to be specifically a teacher. It should be someone that really knows you and really knows your story and what you're capable of doing. Because I think that when they are filling out the application, they ask them like different questions, right? About what you have done. So they are kind of supporting your application, so they should know you really well. So if you're thinking about what professor should I ask, it should not only be a professor, maybe because I did good in his class or in her class, it should be someone that really knows what you're doing.
And you can, yeah, like she said, your dean, your academic advisor, professor, yeah, people that know you. And then what are they looking for? They want to see achievement in academic ability. So like we said, the 3.5 GPA is really important. Even above that, financial need, that's why those documents are required. Persistence. So part of the application, you're asked to describe any of the job positions that you've held. So you can elaborate on like how you've worked part-time to get you through school, full-time. They want to see how you have really persisted through college. Leadership opportunities, so if you are the president of a club on campus, if you hold other leadership opportunities on campus, they want to see that as well, and then the desire to help others. So like we said before, they really want to see that you have this like innate desire to really help others and put others before you in some situations.
So this is how the application looks like.
For the recommenders, yeah. This is what the recommendation form looks like. So when you email your professor, your advisor, this is what they'll see on their end. So it says like on a scale of 1 to 7, which best describes the applicant's concern for others. How well does he or she serve in the following roles in a group? Listener, collaborator, organizer, hard worker. How would you rate the applicant's ability to motivate others and serve as a positive role model? So these are the questions that your recommender will be seeing when they open that. Would you recommend this person? And the last one is about leadership qualities and how they interact with others. And there's more. constructive feedback, more questions about writing ability, critical thinking, academic ability, and they can expand here on number 9 on specific examples of where they've seen you demonstrate that academic or intellectual ability. And the last one, share an example or two that demonstrates the student's enthusiasm for learning. So you can keep that in mind as you go over next semester. Pick your classes. Be enthused.
Okay, so for the financial documents, we have to submit, it will be 2015 and 2016, right? The term
16 and 17. No, 15, 16.
Yeah. And then 2017, all forms, including the 1040 forms, and then the way to the schedule and attachments. So yeah, it's like the last 3 years, previous 2 years.
Yeah, and this is for your parents if you're under 30 and yourselves.
So for the writing the essays, it can be really stressful just because you want it to be, I wanted my essays to be perfect, so I added a lot of stress to myself since the beginning. But like as this says, you should like create a chart of all the essays you need to write. That's what I did. Like I created like in one document, I wrote all the questions I had to ask, and then answer the question, be real and remain positive, ask for feedback on 1 or 2 videos and proofread. When I was writing my essays, I went through the whole application, so I wrote my whole application. And then when I was on the train and when I was doing something else, I was always thinking about what could I write for my essays. So when I sit down, I actually sat down, I start writing. I already had an idea what to write, so I wasn't blank. So I think that would be good if you start thinking before that what to write, so you can be better when you're writing them. And as for feedback, I was always asking for feedback because you never know what you're missing. So if there is someone that knows you, they can also be like, oh, you should add this or that. And that was really helpful as well. And proofread, that's important as well.
I know for me, I had 6 drafts, I think, in total at the end of the whole application. Like I would submit it to my academic advisor, then I would submit it to like a previous scholar, then I would get feedback and I would revise it and revise it and revise it just to make sure that the final product that I was putting forward was like, I think, like perfect. Because you want it to be, you don't want to see any like grammatical errors. You want to make sure, because you only have so many characters to tell your story, right? So you want to make sure that every word counts. How many drafts did you have?
I had a lot of That's why you have to start early. So.
Are these the ones from last year that you had?
Yeah. Okay, for a short answer, you have to write, so scholars are committed to making the world a better place, as we just mentioned. They like to see scholars wanting to give back. They are inventing solutions, advocating for others, and giving back to their communities. However, most start with small steps, where steps big or small have been taken to make your own impact on the world. So that was one of the essays, and I think we were the same or similar for the application. And then for the essay, is what's very important and under-discussed. So you really have to think about this one. Oh my God, what can I write? Because there's a lot of things that are really important, and but they are discussed, and there are things that are really important as well that are under-discussed, and that's why it's really hard to think about them because people don't talk about it. So you really have to think about what you're writing there. And then you have to write your story. So this statement should provide information and as well in the application, such as leadership roles, family, educational, philosophical, and other life experiences that have influenced your achievements and career decisions. Also include professional and civic activities that you consider important. The narrative should be concise, emphasizing those areas most important to your intellectual development. Again, you have a limit, so it's really hard. And if you start adding a lot of stuff, but that's why you don't have to add information that you added as well in the application. So, yeah.
And then I'll give you an insider tip. This is what all of my advisors and mentors in the foundation told me when I was applying. I don't know if this was the same with you, but they told me to really tie everything in together and have one theme. So for me at the time when I was applying, I was really passionate about investigative and international journalism. So I tied in every single answer in some way to my love for writing, for my love for telling stories and taking pictures and telling stories that way. And so I found a way to incorporate that into every essay so they see some sort of comprehensive theme amongst all different essays that you are writing. And then words of advice. So yeah, what is the prompt asking? Rephrasing the prompt, kind of thinking through the process of how you really go about writing essays. How many of you have written like scholarship essays before? So yeah, they typically all vary, but you want to make sure that you're getting to the heart of the question. Think about what you're going to write and start organizing your thoughts around that. My go-to when writing an essay or something is to just really sit down and put all my thoughts on paper and not really care about word count or making sense of it, just to make sure that I'm getting all my thoughts onto that piece of paper initially. And then going back and kind of finding themes throughout. Use clear, concise, and simple language throughout the essay. So yes, this is a prestigious scholarship, but we want to hear your voice, right? You don't want to hear like thesaurus.com or synonyms.com. I know I was guilty of using that when I first started, and my mentor was like, what does this word mean? I'm like, I don't know. Don't even use it. Like, if you can't explain what you're writing, don't use that. And bring up the creative writers. So you may have to, if you're not a creative person, ask your friends. Ask like if they're a spoken word poet, like what symbolism can I use here? But just make sure that you're able to tell your story in a really unique way, because they're receiving like 3,500 scholarships applications like every single year. So find a way to stand out amongst like the crowd. Oh, someone's taking pictures. Did you get that? Okay, cool. And then,
Yeah, so our message to transfer students: have a mentor for the scholarship. I think this is really helpful because they can like, motivate you. The scholarship process is long. It takes time. So it is really good to have someone there next to you, motivating you, checking how are you doing, like, are you done with the application? So you should have maybe a professor, an advisor, or if you can find a scholar, that would be even better because you have like, that help. Benefits of just applying, you can use your essays and recommendations for your other applications. So yeah, and then so strongly consider applying to selective or universities. It's like, as we already mentioned, they encourage you to apply to selective schools and apply to at least 2 schools in each of the following categories: reach, possible, and likely.
how many of you have heard of that like process of applying for schools, like reach, possible, and likely? Yeah, I know I did that in high school too. So they want to make sure that you're having a good grasp of like schools on all different levels, and that you're applying to programs or applying to colleges with your specific program. So did they ask like why you chose a specific school?
Yes.
So that's part of the application as well. Like, why did you choose a specific school? And if you're not able to say they're one of the top 10 journalism schools in the country, they have a really amazing research cohort that I'm excited to be a part of, they're going to be like, why did they choose that? So make sure you're really specific and intentional about the schools that you're choosing, and make sure you have a way to back those up, those selections up. And then, I don't know if it's anywhere else on here, but they have really amazing summer opportunities. So not only helping support for summer classes, if that's something that will help you get closer to graduation, but study abroad opportunities during the semester over the summer. So I actually took advantage of that before my last year, and I studied abroad in Italy for the summer, and the foundation was able to support my travels and my studies abroad because they saw how that was impactful and relevant to my studies.
Yeah, and also talking about summer, they also have this stipend. So if you want to work for a nonprofit during the summer, they can also give you, I think it's $5,000 for the summer, so you can work in a nonprofit.
So ignore the years, but this is typically what the timeline will look like every single year. So at the end of August, the application will open, and then at the end of October, the application closes. And then you'll receive notification if you've gotten, well, we're in March right now. So the first round of finalists were notified if they got through the first round. And then in early April, the finalists will be notified if they receive the scholarship or not.
And you can go to the website and they have like a big square there where it says like notify me when the scholarship opens. So you can also click there and leave your information, and then we'll email you when the scholarship opens.
Yeah, follow the Instagram page, follow the Twitter account, because they're always posting reminders for when the scholarship opens, any important tips, scholar stories. I know the hardest part for me when I was applying was like figuring out what my story was when I wanted to apply. I'm like, yes, everyone has an incredible story, but how do you put it on paper? So I was able to, like, I followed the Instagram account and I watched some of the videos that they would publish through the videography department. And they're like, oh yeah, like this scholar did this, and they have this interest, and this is where they came from, and it helped me better shape my story, like when I was applying. is their phone number and this is their email.
But a couple things I want to reiterate that these ladies shared that were so important. And I think having a story, and one thing is you have to show, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to show that you've overcome obstacles. So what kind of challenges and obstacles have you had in your life that you have shown problem solving and persistence, dedication, courage, maybe risk taking to overcome those. So you have to have somewhat of a story. I know they really support community work. So if you don't have a super close relationship, perhaps with a professor, maybe it was your supervisor or someone in the community, someone with a nice job title that you could use. So I have really seen that the winners of the past several years, 8 or 9 years that I've been doing this, all had incredible stories. And I liked how you talked about when writing your essays, you know, it's a challenging thing, so don't attempt this on your own. Get a lot of people to look, you know, you've got the Transfer Center here. I would have your professors look at it. You can go to the Writing Center. I would definitely take advantage of the offer that you were just presented. Because sometimes you're so close to your story that you don't realize the message you're portraying. And so you need some outsiders who are unfamiliar with your story to read it. I think I want to emphasize this whole idea of giving back, because they're very big on that. And I think above all, it's not just to look at the scholarship as funding for your next bachelor, you know, for your bachelor's degree, but the network and this alumni network. This thing can open up gigantic doors for you for the rest of your life, because you're going to have a camaraderie with successful people all over the world. What more could you want as you proceed in your career? So the more time you put into the application process, the sooner you prepare for it, the easier and better it's going to be. Let's see, what else on the next I say? So typically what happens here at the college is there's an announcement that goes out. Ellen's been super great at sharing that. It's because we've had several winners in the past, our top faculty all know about this, and they try to groom you for this kind of scholarship. But again, start on it early, start taking notes on it, and then you know, keep in touch with the websites like they suggested. They've really changed the whole process for this, and they keep making the deadline date earlier. Every year, it seems like it's a couple weeks earlier. So you could come here in the fall and bingo, you know, but you should know well ahead of time when it is. I have not been notified yet of it, so usually they'll send me an email, but I've not had it yet. So use your resources to help you with this process, and don't take it lightly. I mean, it's a serious, if you're a winner, you are a huge winner, so I congratulate both of you, because it's a big, big deal. It's the largest community college scholarship you can get.